One day, you will realize something that changes your life forever. The people who broke your heart never actually controlled your peace. The words that crushed your confidence only had power because you believed them. The betrayal that almost destroyed you became the lesson that awakened you. The moment you stop handing your emotional power to other people is the moment no one can ever truly hurt you again. Today, you are about to learn that freedom. The greatest mistake most people make is believing that other people have the power to control how they feel. They think their happiness depends on being appreciated, their confidence depends on being praised, and their peace depends on everyone treating them fairly. But that is the biggest prison you could ever build for yourself. The moment your emotions are placed in someone else's hands, you become a prisoner of their words, their actions, and their opinions. If they compliment you, you feel valuable. If they ignore you, you feel invisible. If they love you, you feel complete. If they leave you, you feel broken. Is that really freedom? Or is that emotional slavery disguised as love? Imagine someone walking into your house every morning and deciding whether your lights stay on or off. One day, they switch them on, and your life feels bright. The next day, they switch them off, and suddenly you are surrounded by darkness. Most people live exactly like this, except the house is their heart. They have unknowingly handed the switch to everyone else. A stranger's criticism ruins their entire day. A friend's betrayal steals their sleep. A family member's harsh words echo in their mind for years. They keep waiting for other people to change, never realizing that the key to freedom was never in someone else's pocket. It has always been in their own hands. There comes a moment in every strong person's life when they make a quiet but life-changing decision. They stop asking, "Why did they hurt me?" and begin asking, "Why did I give them permission to control my peace?" That single question changes everything, because no one can enter your inner world without your permission. Yes, people can disappoint you. Yes, they can lie, reject, criticize, or abandon you. But they cannot decide who you become after those moments. That decision belongs only to you. Think about a mighty mountain standing against storms that have lasted for centuries. The wind screams, the rain crashes, lightning strikes, yet the mountain remains. Why? Because its strength is rooted deep beneath the surface. Be like that mountain. Let people say what they want. Let life bring unexpected challenges. Let criticism come and go like passing clouds. If your identity is rooted in your own values instead of other people's opinions, nothing outside of you can destroy what is within you. Look at the people who inspire the world. They were misunderstood. They were rejected. They were laughed at before they were respected. If they had allowed every negative voice to define them, they would have disappeared long before achieving greatness. Instead, they chose something different. They refused to let temporary opinions become permanent truths. They understood that another person's judgment reflects their own perspective, not your true value. Every morning, you have a choice. You can wake up and hand your emotional remote control to the world, allowing every comment, every message, every disappointment, and every rejection to determine your mood. Or you can take that remote back and say, "From this day forward, my peace belongs to me. My confidence belongs to me. My joy belongs to me. No one else has the authority to decide how I see myself." Remember this powerful truth. People only control your emotions for as long as you allow them to. The day you stop seeking validation from the outside is the day you discover an unshakable strength within. That is real freedom. That is real confidence. And once your peace is built from the inside, instead of borrowed from the outside, you become someone the world can challenge, but never truly break. Pain is something every human being tries to avoid. We pray for easier days, smoother roads, and kinder people. We wish the heartbreak had never happened, the betrayal had never cut so deeply, and the failure had never shattered our confidence. But what if the very pain you are trying to erase is the reason you are becoming stronger? What if the darkest chapter of your life is not a punishment, but a preparation? The people who rise above suffering understand one life-changing truth. Pain is not your enemy. Pain is your teacher, and every lesson it brings is shaping you into someone you could never become through comfort alone. Think about a piece of coal buried deep beneath the earth. For years, it is crushed under unimaginable pressure. It does not understand why life feels so heavy. It cannot see the purpose behind the weight pressing down on it every single day. Yet that very pressure is what eventually transforms it into a diamond. Without the pressure, there is no diamond. Without the struggle, there is no transformation. Your life works the same way. The pressure you feel today may be creating the strength you will rely on tomorrow. Many people spend years asking, "Why did this happen to me?" They replay painful memories over and over again, hoping the past will somehow change. They become trapped inside yesterday, carrying emotional wounds that grow heavier with every passing year. But there is another question that changes everything. Instead of asking, "Why me?" ask, "What is this experience trying to teach me?" Suddenly, your pain stops being a prison and becomes a classroom. Every disappointment becomes a lesson in wisdom. Every rejection becomes a lesson in self-worth. Every betrayal becomes a lesson in choosing better people and protecting your peace. Imagine a young tree growing in a forest. If it is protected from every wind, every storm, and every challenge, its roots remain shallow. The first powerful storm can tear it from the ground. But the tree that survives countless storms develops roots so deep that even the fiercest winds cannot move it. Life is doing the same with you. Every challenge is strengthening roots that cannot be seen. Your patience grows, your courage grows, your resilience grows. One day, people will admire how calm and confident you have become, never realizing it was your storms that built that strength. Look at people who have achieved extraordinary things. Almost every inspiring story begins with struggle. The successful entrepreneur who lost everything before building a thriving business. The athlete who faced defeat after defeat before standing on the winner's podium. The person who was abandoned, rejected, or underestimated, yet refused to let those experiences define their future. Their greatness was not born during moments of comfort. It was forged during moments when giving up seemed easier than continuing. They learned to use pain as fuel instead of allowing it to become an excuse. The truth is, pain reveals things that comfort never can. It shows you who truly stands beside you when life becomes difficult. It exposes the habits, beliefs, and fears that have been quietly holding you back. It teaches humility when success makes you proud, patience when life moves slowly, and gratitude for blessings you once took for granted. Most importantly, it introduces you to a version of yourself that you never knew existed, a version capable of surviving what once seemed impossible. So the next time life hurts you, do not immediately curse the experience. Stand still, breathe deeply, ask yourself, what is this trying to teach me? Because every scar carries wisdom. Every tear carries growth. Every setback carries a hidden opportunity to become stronger than you were before. The pain that almost broke you can become the foundation that builds your greatest strength. And when you begin to see suffering through this new perspective, you stop fearing it. You start learning from it. That is the moment pain loses its power to destroy you and begins its true purpose, to transform you into someone who cannot be shaken by life again. One of the greatest sources of suffering is not what people do to us, it is what we expect them to do. We expect loyalty to be returned with loyalty. We expect kindness to be met with kindness. We expect people to understand our sacrifices, appreciate our efforts, and remain by our side forever. But life has a way of reminding us that expectations placed on others are fragile. The higher you build them, the harder they fall. That is why so many people spend years carrying disappointment in their hearts. They are not only grieving what happened, they are grieving the picture they created in their minds of how life was supposed to be. The moment you release unrealistic expectations and attach yourself to a meaningful purpose, instead, you become emotionally free. Think about an archer aiming at a distant target. If the archer keeps turning around to see who is watching, who is cheering, or who is criticizing, the arrow will never reach its destination. The focus is broken. The purpose is forgotten. This is exactly how many people live. They become so distracted by other people's approval, opinions, and actions that they lose sight of the mission they were born to pursue. Every criticism pulls them off course. Every rejection steals their momentum. Every betrayal convinces them to stop moving forward. But the people who accomplish extraordinary things understand something different. They keep their eyes on the target, not on the crowd. Purpose gives you a direction that emotions alone can never provide. Imagine waking up every morning knowing exactly why you are working so hard, why you refuse to quit, and why every challenge is worth enduring. Suddenly, the opinions of people who do not understand your journey begin to lose their power. Their words become background noise instead of life-defining judgments. Why? Because your life is no longer driven by the need to be accepted. It is driven by the desire to fulfill something greater than yourself. Look at those who have changed the world. They faced rejection, criticism, and misunderstanding at every stage of their journey. There were moments when people doubted them, laughed at them, and even walked away from them. If they had expected everyone to believe in them before taking action, they would have remained exactly where they started. Instead, they accepted that not everyone would understand their vision. They stopped chasing approval and started chasing purpose. And that decision changed everything. Picture a ship sailing across the ocean. The captain cannot control the wind, the waves, or the storms. But the captain can control the direction of the ship. If the captain spends every moment complaining about the weather, the destination will never be reached. The wise captain adjusts the sails and keeps moving forward. Life works the same way. You cannot control other people's behavior. You cannot force someone to stay loyal, to understand your heart, or to treat you the way you deserve. But you can control where your energy goes. You can choose to invest it in becoming stronger, wiser, and more focused on your purpose instead of wasting it on people who refuse to value you. There will always be those who disappoint you. Some promises will be broken. Some relationships will end. Some people will leave without giving you the closure you hoped for. Accepting this reality does not make you cold. It makes you wise. It allows you to stop fighting battles you were never meant to fight. It frees you from carrying emotional burdens that only slow your journey. Instead of asking, "Why didn't they choose me?" you begin asking, "Am I becoming the person I was created to be?" That single shift changes the entire direction of your life. When your purpose becomes greater than your expectations, rejection becomes redirection. Failure becomes feedback. Delay becomes preparation. You no longer measure your worth by who stays or who leaves, who applauds or who criticizes. Your identity is anchored in your mission, not in other people's reactions. And that is a level of freedom that very few people ever discover. So stop waiting for the world to behave exactly as you want it to. Stop tying your peace to people you cannot control. Build a purpose so powerful that disappointment cannot distract you from it. Walk with your eyes fixed on your destination, your heart grounded in your values, and your spirit committed to growth. Because when your purpose becomes your priority, expectations lose their grip, and no one has the power to keep you from becoming the person you were meant to be. There is a place within you that no one can reach unless you allow them. It is deeper than your reputation, deeper than your appearance, deeper than your successes and failures. It is your inner foundation. And if that foundation is weak, the smallest criticism can shake you. A single rejection can make you question your worth. One betrayal can convince you that you are not enough. But when you build an inner fortress, one made of self-respect, wisdom, discipline, and unwavering belief in your own value, you become someone the world may challenge, but never destroy. The strongest people are not those who never face storms. They are the ones who have built something inside themselves that no storm can tear down. Imagine an ancient castle standing on top of a mountain. For hundreds of years, fierce winds have struck its walls. Rain has poured against its stones. Seasons have changed. Empires have risen and fallen around it. Yet the castle remains because it was built with strength long before the storm arrived. Your mind must become that castle. Do not wait until life becomes difficult to discover your strength. Build it now. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, another stone is added to your fortress. Every time you choose discipline over excuses, another wall becomes stronger. Every time you refuse to let someone else's opinion define your identity, another gate is reinforced. Too many people build their confidence on unstable ground. They build it on compliments, social approval, relationships, money, or achievements. Those things can disappear overnight. The applause eventually fades. Success rises and falls. People come and go. If your confidence depends on what can be taken away, then your confidence can always be taken away. But when your confidence is built on your character, your honesty, your courage, your resilience, your willingness to keep growing, it becomes something that no one else can steal. That is real strength. That is lasting confidence. Think about a person learning to walk after a devastating injury. Every step is painful. Every movement feels impossible. There are days when progress is almost invisible. Yet they continue, not because the journey is easy, but because they refuse to let temporary pain decide their permanent future. That is how an inner fortress is built. It is not created in one dramatic moment. It is built through thousands of quiet decisions when no one is watching. It grows every time you choose courage instead of fear, responsibility instead of blame, and perseverance instead of surrender. Life will always test what you have built inside yourself. Someone may criticize you unfairly. Another person may underestimate your potential. Someone you trusted may walk away without explanation. These moments reveal whether your identity belongs to you or to everyone around you. If your worth depends on their acceptance, you will crumble every time they reject you. But if you know who you are, if you have spent time understanding your values and honoring your principles, their actions lose the power to define your future. They may wound your feelings for a moment, but they cannot break your spirit. Look at the people you admire most. They are not admired because life treated them gently. They are admired because they remained true to themselves when life became difficult. They stood firm when others doubted them. They continued when others gave up. They refused to abandon their values just to gain temporary approval. Their strength was not loud. It was quiet, steady, and deeply rooted. That kind of strength cannot be purchased, borrowed, or inherited. It must be earned through experience, discipline, and self-respect. Every challenge you face is an opportunity to strengthen your inner walls. Every disappointment is another chance to remind yourself that your value does not depend on external circumstances. Every obstacle is an invitation to become wiser instead of more bitter. Do not fear difficult seasons, because they reveal the cracks that need repairing. And once those cracks are repaired, with patience, resilience, and self-belief, you emerge stronger than before. So stop searching for safety in other people's approval. Stop waiting for the world to validate your existence before you believe in yourself. Build your confidence from the inside out. Guard your peace. Protect your values. Keep your promises to yourself even when no one notices. Because the day your strength comes from within is the day your life changes forever. From that moment on, people may criticize you, reject you, or misunderstand you, but they will never again have the power to tear down the fortress you have built inside your own soul. Forgiveness is one of the most misunderstood forms of strength. Many people believe that forgiving someone means forgetting what happened, pretending the pain never existed, or allowing the person who hurt them back into their lives without consequences. But that is not forgiveness. Forgiveness is not weakness, and it is not permission for someone to continue hurting you. Forgiveness is the courageous decision to stop carrying the weight of someone else's actions on your own shoulders. It is choosing freedom over bitterness. It is deciding that your future is too valuable to remain chained to your past. Imagine carrying a heavy backpack filled with rocks every single day. At first, you think you can manage it. You keep walking, believing that with enough time, the weight will become easier. But instead, every step becomes more exhausting. Your back begins to ache. Your energy disappears. Your journey slows down. The strange thing is that the person who placed those rocks in your backpack is no longer there. They have moved on with their life, while you continue carrying the burden they left behind. This is exactly what resentment does. The person who hurt you may not even think about what happened anymore. Yet you replay the memory over and over, allowing it to steal your joy, your peace, and your strength. Forgiveness is the moment you finally put the backpack down and continue your journey with both hands free. There are people who spend years waiting for an apology that never comes. They believe healing can only begin when the other person admits they were wrong. But if your healing depends on someone else's actions, then you are still giving them control over your life. Think about that. Even after they have hurt you, you are still allowing them to decide when your heart can finally be at peace. Real freedom begins when you stop waiting. You realize that closure is not something another person gives you. It is something you choose for yourself. This does not mean you ignore injustice. It does not mean you trust someone who has repeatedly betrayed you. Wisdom teaches you to forgive while still protecting your boundaries. A burned hand learns not to touch the fire again. That is not hatred. That is wisdom. You can release resentment from your heart while also choosing not to return to environments, relationships, or people that repeatedly destroy your peace. Forgiveness and boundaries can exist together. In fact, they must. Think about a river flowing through a valley. It never stops because someone throws rocks into its path. It simply finds another way. It moves around the obstacles and continues toward the ocean. Your life must become like that river. Do not stop flowing because someone tried to block your path. Do not allow one painful experience to harden your heart against the entire world. Keep moving. Keep growing. Keep believing that your purpose is greater than your pain. Some of the strongest people you will ever meet are those who have every reason to be bitter, but choose compassion instead. Not because their wounds were small, but because they refused to let those wounds define their identity. They understood that anger may feel powerful for a moment, but peace is far more powerful in the long run. They chose healing over revenge, growth over resentment, and wisdom over endless emotional battles. That choice transformed their lives. Remember, holding on to hatred does not punish the person who hurt you. More often than not, it punishes you. It steals your sleep, clouds your judgment, drains your energy, and keeps your mind trapped in moments that cannot be changed. Every day spent reliving yesterday is a day stolen from the life you could be building today. You deserve better than that. Your dreams deserve better than that. Your future deserves better than that. So make a decision that will change your life forever. Release what no longer serves you. Let go of the anger that has occupied your heart for too long. Forgive, not because they earned it, but because you deserve peace. Forgive, not because the past can be rewritten, but because your future is still waiting to be written. Walk away carrying wisdom instead of bitterness, strength instead of resentment, and hope instead of regret. Because the moment you stop allowing yesterday's wounds to control today's, heart is the moment you become truly free. And once you are free within yourself, no one has the power to imprison your spirit again. The greatest victory in life is not reaching a certain level of success, earning more money, or gaining the admiration of the world. The greatest victory is becoming so strong within yourself that no person, no failure, no rejection, and no unexpected hardship can steal your peace. This is the kind of strength that cannot be seen with the eyes. Yet it is the foundation of every extraordinary life. It is the quiet power of a person who has walked through fire, survived the storm, and emerged with a heart that is wiser instead of harder, stronger instead of colder. When you reach this level of inner resilience, life may knock you down, but it will never keep you there. Think about a bamboo tree. For years after it is planted, almost nothing appears above the ground. People look at it and assume nothing is happening. They believe the seed has failed because they cannot see immediate results. But beneath the surface, the bamboo is growing an incredible network of roots. It is preparing for the future. Then one day, it shoots upward at an astonishing speed, reaching heights that seem impossible. Why? Because the foundation was built first. Your strength is exactly like that. Every challenge you overcome, every painful lesson you learn, every lonely night you survive, and every moment you choose to keep moving forward is strengthening roots that no one else can. See, one day, the world will admire your confidence, your calmness, and your resilience, never realizing they were built during the seasons when you felt completely alone. There will always be moments when life tests you. Someone you trusted may betray you. A dream you worked years to achieve may suddenly fall apart. You may experience loss that leaves you speechless, or face failure when you believed success was finally within reach. In those moments, the question is not whether life is being fair. The question is whether your spirit is stronger than the circumstances standing in front of you. Weakness asks, why is this happening to me? Strength asks, how can this make me better? That simple shift in perspective transforms suffering into growth and obstacles into opportunities. Look at a blacksmith forging a sword. The steel is placed into an intense fire until it glows red hot. Then it is struck again and again with a heavy hammer. If the steel could speak, it might believe it was being destroyed. But the blacksmith knows a deeper truth. Every blow, every spark, and every moment in the fire is shaping the steel into something far stronger than it was before. Life is your blacksmith. The heat is not there to destroy you. The pressure is not there to punish you. Every difficult experience is forging a stronger character, a clearer mind, and a more courageous heart. The question is not whether the fire exists. The question is whether you will allow it to refine you or consume you. The people who cannot be broken are not fearless. They still feel disappointment. They still experience sadness, uncertainty, and pain. The difference is that they refuse to build a permanent home in those emotions. They allow themselves to feel, but they do not allow those feelings to define who they are. They stand back up every single time because they have made one unshakable decision. Quitting is not an option. Every setback becomes another chapter in their story, not the end of it. Every scar becomes proof that they survived what once seemed impossible. Imagine standing in the middle of a violent storm. The wind is fierce, the rain is relentless, and everything around you seems uncertain. Most people desperately search for somewhere to hide, but the strongest person has already built shelter within. Their peace does not depend on calm weather, because they have learned how to remain calm in the middle of chaos. They understand that storms always pass, but the strength developed while enduring them remains forever. This is the kind of person the world cannot defeat, not because life becomes easier, but because their spirit becomes greater than any challenge they face. So from this day forward, stop praying for a life without obstacles. Pray for a heart that refuses to surrender. Stop wishing for easier roads. Become a stronger traveler. Let every disappointment teach you wisdom. Let every failure sharpen your determination. Let every rejection remind you that your worth has never depended on another person's approval. Build your life on discipline, courage, purpose, and unwavering self-belief. Because when your strength comes from within, nothing outside of you can permanently shake it. And one day you will look back at the pain that once made you cry, the betrayal that once kept you awake at night, and the failures that once made you doubt yourself. You will smile, not because those moments were easy, but because they became the very things that transformed you. You will realize that life did not break you. It built you, and from that moment on, no matter what the world throws in your path, you will walk forward with unshakable confidence, knowing that the strongest version of yourself has already been born.